We're continuing to follow the influx of Haitian immigrants into Springfield tonight. This as social media rumors began about alleged criminal activity by those migrants, a topic that has now garnered more attention after hitting the stage last night during the presidential debate.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
In a statement we received Monday from the mayor of Springfield, the city says there are no credible reports of these instances happening, a sentiment he repeated again yesterday at a town hall and a commission meeting, saying the rumors are unfounded. So that now brings us to today. We caught up with Governor Mike DeWine and the Springfield city manager, both reacting to last night's debate and the continued social media rumors.
You know, I think we should take the word of the city manager and the mayor that they've found no credible evidence of that story of Haitians eating pets.
While we are experiencing challenges related to the rapid growth of our immigrant population, these challenges are primarily due to the pace of the growth rather than the rumors being reported.
Springfield city manager releasing this video statement today after drawing attention to the real issues the city is actually seeing, which is resources. You have healthcare, housing, schools, and road safety, all concerns voiced by state and local leaders. And today we're looking into those areas that need assistance. And we are continuing our team coverage, starting with Lydia Bice, who is now digging deeper into the housing situation in Clark County after reports that there are camps of homeless migrants in the area. Now, Lydia, I know you spoke with officials and even people who live in Springfield. So what are they telling you?
That's right, Elise. As you mentioned, there are just tons of rumors circulating social media about the Springfield Haitian population, and one of those is that they're homeless and staying in people's front yards. So today I spoke with Springfield residents, officials, and someone who works very closely with the Springfield homeless population to see if that's the case.
To say that we have a homeless community because of the Haitian immigrants is absolutely wrong. That is a city problem. That is a landlord problem.
Scott and Gracie live in an area of Springfield where they say homeless camps have popped up. They didn't want to go on camera, but Scott, Gracie, and their neighbors say that there were even people staying in this patch of grass outside of Snyder Park at one time. However, unlike claims on social media, they do not believe that these homeless camps are completely made up of Haitian migrants.
They've been coming in pretty consistently for the last 4 years. We've had a homeless community problem for longer than 4 years.
Fred Stegner, president of the Springfield Soup Kitchen, is very familiar with Springfield's homeless population and agrees with Scott and Gracie.
If you look on any porch or sidewalk or garage or where they're laying or sleeping, you know, I don't think I've never seen any Haitians.
Fred says that the homeless residents who have lived here their whole lives notice that.
Haitians always have a place to stay. And I think that's a great disparity that a lot of people, especially other homeless, look at and say they have money for rent and housing and shelter.
The city itself is also trying to debunk this rumor.
There have been no verified incidences of immigrants engaging in illegal activities as squatting or littering in front of residents' homes.
As is the county.
There's a lot of bad information out there about refugees and immigration, and I don't know the status of every single person who is here in this community, but by and large, they are seeking asylum and refuge from a really bad situation in Haiti.
Residents also told me today that if Springfield is going to be treated as a sanctuary city with 12 to 15,000 migrants moving here, then they'd like the government to provide more funding so that everyone in Springfield could have lower rent and more structures could be built. Now I want to send things over to Eli Burgett, who's been speaking with the Haitian community about how they ended up here. Eli?
We now know that around 15,000 Haitian immigrants are living in the Springfield area. And with a dramatic influx of population like that, many are wondering why they chose to live here. After speaking with Governor DeWine and people from the Haitian community here in Springfield, we learned that one of the main reasons is job opportunities.
And they kind of looking for a safe place where they can raise their family and get a job. And you know that as human beings, we all that like the instinct of survival.
Within the past 3 years, thousands of Haitian immigrants have fled their native country due to increased political violence and have moved to Springfield, Ohio.
They came to Springfield, Ohio for work. And many of them are working and filling positions in Springfield.
The Haitian Community Help and Support Center in Springfield serves the immigrants of Springfield by helping them adapt to American society and connect them to potential employers. They say a large portion of Haitian immigrants in the area are working warehouse positions at companies like Amazon, McGregor Metalworks, and Topre America.
Those employers were looking for workers. So once a friend came and he understand that he get a job very quick.
The patients who are here are hardworking people. They have families, and they care about their families, and they care about their children.
At this time, Governor DeWine is making it clear to U.S. citizens that the immigrants in Springfield are here legally under the Immigration Parole Program. Through the program, these Haitian immigrants can apply for temporary protected status, which allows them to come to the U.S., get a job, and a place to live before officially becoming a U.S. citizen. Governor DeWine says that beyond this program, the federal government needs to have a long-term strategy to ensure that the communities housing these immigrants do not crumble over time.
I'm not against this program. What I do say, though, is that with this program, there has to be a plan. There has to be a plan to prevent situations like we're seeing.
Governor DeWine has said before that the federal policies on immigration have led to Springfield being overwhelmed with population. He also says that the state will do whatever they can to help fix this situation, but without the help of the federal government, the state's efforts may not be enough. Back to you.
And we have been keeping you up to date on this ever-flowing situation in Springfield, both on air and online. You can find all of our coverage right now at Dayton247now.com. Dayton police announcing arrests after investigating a series of aggravated robberies. One suspect was arrested just yesterday. Now today, the McDonald's on Edwin C. Moses Boulevard was also robbed. That suspect was tracked to the Travelers Motel in North Dayton. Dayton police and Montgomery County SWAT came out to get that suspect. That suspect surrendered, which he did, of course, peacefully. This suspect is also wanted in connection to the aggravated robbery of a 73-year-old woman. 2 other people were arrested at the motel as well. Police say there is no ongoing threat to the public. How tonight, conflict continues over contract negotiations between the city of Dayton and the Dayton Fraternal Order of Police. This after the FOP spoke with us on Monday, questioning why the city would want to renegotiate a contract that both parties had signed and which included a pay increase for officers. In a statement, the Dayton city manager says, in part, quote, "The city is not denying or attempting to undo the contract as no contract has been signed. The tentative agreement has been ratified by FOP and the city. What is in dispute is the meaning and application of the pay steps. I want to assure you that the FOP is receiving the agreed upon 7% increase." She goes on to say the city has requested the State Employment Relations Board to mediate. The FOP also releasing its statement following the city's, saying in part, quote, "The most beneficial resolution would come without having to use a third-party neutral in resolving this issue. For the city to imply that we do not have a signed contract is extremely disingenuous. The signing of a tentative agreement is the official signed contract." The FOP goes on to say the only thing not signed was the edited version of that contract. We now want to give you a live look tonight from our ODOT cameras from over I-75 and US 35 after a semi-truck overturned this afternoon. Now you can see the ramp has reopened and traffic is now flowing. However, this is what it looked like just before 1 o'clock this afternoon. That semi-tractor trailer was the only vehicle involved. Luckily, no one was hurt. First responders contained a small fuel leak. That fuel leak has now been cleaned up. And a live look right now from our Eco Plumber Skycam. Beautiful out there. Let's send it out to Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters.
Yeah, another really warm one out here on our Watson's weather patio. Another day warmer than the day before. And we also are tracking some clouds that will be increasing. And then eventually we also have very small rain chances in the forecast. But for right now, We're hanging out in the upper 80s. We got 87 in Dayton, 88 in Troy. We got 91 in Sydney, 86 up in Wapakoneta right now. So it is overall very warm across the board with some spots. Again, Sydney getting into the 90s today. And also compared to where we were compared to this time yesterday, a lot warmer, 4 degrees warmer in Dayton. Same thing up in Wapakoneta. So a warmer afternoon, but this is what we're tracking in our forecast. Hurricane Francine right now a Category 2 hurricane. Going to track Francine and the potential impacts we'll have right here in the Miami Valley. Other than that, that drought continues on. Warm weather continues on too. I'll have the latest coming up here in just a bit.
Today marks 23 years since the terrorist attacks that claimed the lives of nearly 3,000 Americans. Victims, survivors, and their families, first responders, and dignitaries gathered at the Ground Zero spot in Lower Manhattan to honor those who were lost that day and in the years later from 9/11 related illnesses. Each year, the names of the victims are read, so they're never forgotten. And here in the Miami Valley, there were multiple events and ceremonies. In fact, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base hosted the Run for the Fallen event in tribute to the veterans, first responders, and other heroes who sacrificed their lives on 9/11. The 5K run and 2K walk was designed, to honor the sacrifice of those with boots on the ground that day and the following weeks.
The fact that I wasn't even a conscious adult at that point, and it is echoed throughout history that this is an event that needs to be remembered and a day that we need to remember as a society I feel like speaks volumes for itself, that it needs to be something that we talk about and remember, because we for one never want it to happen again, and also just for the vigilance that people were lost that day, innocent people, and to remember them.
The walk portion of the event started right at 8:46 this morning as a tribute to the first time the first tower was hit 23 years ago. Residents and city officials gathering today at Wright State University for their 9/11 ceremony. At Calamityville, there's an artifact from one of the World Trade Centers on display. The city says having that steel beam from Ground Zero serves as a reminder.
This piece of steel reminds us not to forget those who gave their lives and to thank those who risked their lives daily to protect us. We will not forget.
Now, the city holds this event every year to ensure every generation knows the significance of today. And while honoring the lives lost on 9/11, many communities are using today to also do acts of service. More than 40 volunteers at Dayton National Cemetery clean headstones. We also spoke with one volunteer who's a veteran and ex-Secret Service member who shared with us why he came out today.
As part of the Secret Service, we always want to remember that, and there's still people affected, many Secret Service as well as first responders who were working through the wreckage that day and have come down with diseases as a result of that. So sadly, the toll keeps climbing. So it's important while, I have my health, I'm able to do it, to do something like this today.
Now, 67 national cemeteries nationwide had volunteers come out today to honor the fallen. And a heated debate between major U.S. presidential candidates last night. We're going to bring you a recap of all the highlights and who's set to face off next. Springfield now has a new wetland project. What the governor says about how this will keep the environment healthy.
Plus, I'm tracking very warm and dry weather as well as Hurricane Francine, and if we'll see any impacts, that's coming up. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The Sports Desk is sponsored
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
The surf was up and the clouds were along the Gulf Coast this morning as Hurricane Francis approached. Out west, this satellite loop shows thick wildfire smoke blowing from Southern California into New Mexico, Utah, and southern Nevada. These pictures came to us from Las Vegas, where the sunrise today was the almost obligatory deep red.
Want to see your weather photos and videos on TV? Click Chime In on this station's website to share.
The ripple effects of the Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris debate will be more clear when polling is released later this month. As national correspondent Matt Galka tells us, the immediate aftermath has questions swirling about the format and whether there will be another one-on-one before the election.
Well, I think the moderators were very unfair. Donald Trump putting his own spin on the debate. While he celebrated his performance, he bashed ABC and the moderators. His supporters claimed only Trump was fact-checked and Harris was impressed.
They have abortion in the 9th month. The governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
The debates changed this election cycle. Rules and format were handed over to television networks instead of being handled by the Bipartisan Commission on Presidential Debates. The rules had to be agreed upon by both candidates before the debates took place. The first debate between Trump and President Joe Biden that led to the unraveling of Biden's campaign had rules agreed upon by Biden's team. Harris supporters are quick to point out Trump agreed to ABC's format as well.
Next up on the schedule, the vice presidential debate October 1st with CBS News in New York. The possibility of another Harris-Trump showdown has been floated by Harris's campaign, with Trump so far non-committal. Reporting in Philadelphia, I'm Matt Galka.
A new wetland project is now complete in Springfield. Governor Mike DeWine and local leaders celebrated the new H2 Ohio Rainbow Run wetland today. Environmentalists say the wetland will help reduce harmful algae blooms, improve wastewater infrastructure, and prevent lead contamination. At today's celebration, Governor Mike DeWine announced the next round of funding for statewide wetland restoration projects.
We started doing these around Lake Erie to deal with the algae bloom problem, but we also knew that look, water is very important throughout the state of Ohio. It's one of the great assets that we have. And so we've now extended this program to all parts of the state. And we're going to continue to do this.
There are 183 H2 Ohio wetland sites across the state that are either in progress or complete.
And we're taking a live look here in Galveston, Texas. Now, not in the direct line of impact of Hurricane Francine, but as you can see, you do not want to be in that water there, as dark clouds and some pretty strong waves have overtaken that area. But the biggest impacts we see here are right along the coastline of Louisiana, making landfall as we speak. So we got to wait until the entire eye of the storm makes its way onshore, but you can see New Orleans, a place that's going to be significantly impacted by Hurricane Francine, closing in on it. Thankfully, not too many high populated areas right along the coastline, but Morgan City certainly being hit hard right now, especially with that leading edge of that eye making its way through. So Category 2 storm, it managed to strengthen just before making landfall with maximum sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. It's moving northeast rather quickly at 17 miles per hour, and I do anticipate it to weaken fairly quickly as well. And unfortunately, as it does weaken, it's really not going to make much of an impact here in the Miami Valley, because we could certainly use the rain. And the reason why is because we have a pattern set up called a Rex block. This is a Rex blocking pattern, so we're going to start to see Francine move onshore and begin to weaken. And then right over our region, we have a very strong area of high pressure that has developed just north of this area of low pressure, which is going to really just block it from making its way any more northward, keeping that rain out of our area. So I'll talk more about that. I'm going to have a look at our 7-day coming up here in just a bit.
We'll be right back. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Boys, there's a lot to learn.
The Dayton 24/7 Now News app, brought to you by the Jeff Schmidt Auto Group.
Well, warm weather across the Miami Valley and dry weather continues on over these next couple of days. We have very small rain chances from Francine, as I was talking about earlier. So heading through time, cloud cover builds in tomorrow, so increasing clouds during the day. It's going to be another warm one, mid-upper 80s. And then notice by early Friday morning, a few showers possible, mainly to our southwest, but unfortunately, it looks like the bulk of the precipitation will stay south and west of our region, with that warm weather continuing on into our next 7 days as well. So